Level 1, the mule. The correctional officer pats your ribs twice, checks your shoes, then waves you through. He misses the balloon taped beneath your thigh. You keep walking. 16 steps to cell block C. 2 left turns. 1 camera with a dead angle. Everyone pretends not to notice. Your heart pounds so hard it feels visible through your shirt. You are 19 years old, serving 30 months for armed robbery. 3 weeks ago, you were fighting over ramen noodles in county jail. Now a man named Rivera slides onto the bench beside you during breakfast and offers you $500 to carry heroin across the yard. $500 inside prison is power. $500 means coffee that isn't stolen from the kitchen. Extra blankets in winter. A phone smuggled in pieces over 6 months. Protection. Or at least the illusion of it. The package weighs less than a candy bar, but every second you carry it feels permanent. You already know the rules. Never run. Never look nervous. Never speak first. You hand the package to an inmate in the laundry room while industrial dryers scream loud enough to hide conversation. No greeting. No thanks. Just a nod. That is how the system works. Nobody acknowledges the machine while standing inside it. That night, Rivera leaves 2 honey buns and a sealed pouch of tuna on your bunk. Payment. Silent. Efficient. You tell yourself it is temporary. Everybody does. At level 1, you still believe there is a version of you untouched by this place. You still divide the world into good people and bad people. You still think choices matter more than systems. Then your cellmate gets stabbed over a $40 debt. You watch him bleed into a state-issued pillow while guards take 11 minutes to respond. After that, survival stops feeling moral. It starts feeling mathematical. By your 3rd month, you are carrying 3 drops a week. Marijuana. Pills. Sometimes strips of fentanyl folded into legal mail. You memorize schedules. Shift rotations. Which officers can be bought for $200 and which ones require leverage instead. You learn prison has 2 economies. The official one is commissary. The real one is addiction. And addiction always pays on time. Level 2, the runner. The first time someone calls your name with respect, it changes you. Not fear. Respect. There is a difference. You move product between 4 housing units now. Cocaine. Meth. Suboxone strips cut into tiny squares worth more than cash. 1 postage stamp-sized strip sells for $150 inside these walls. You clear nearly $9,000 in 3 months. None of it exists on paper. The money moves through sisters, girlfriends, prepaid debit cards, Cash App accounts opened under fake names. The outside world launders the inside one. You stop thinking like an inmate. You start thinking like infrastructure. Every morning begins with inventory. Tiny handwritten numbers hidden inside library books. Debts tracked through coded basketball statistics scribbled onto paper towels. 3 rebounds means 3 grams. 2 fouls means payment overdue. Everyone understands the language except the guards. Or maybe they understand more than they admit. At this level, your job is movement. Never storage. Storage gets raided. Movement survives. You learn who is desperate enough to inform. Usually the ones with short sentences and families waiting outside. You avoid them. You recruit lifers instead. Men with nowhere else to belong. One of them kills a debtor in the shower room using a sharpened toothbrush melted into a razor blade. Afterward, he eats lunch like nothing happened. You realize something uncomfortable then. The system rewards emotional control more than violence. Anybody can lose their temper. Real power belongs to the people who stay calm afterward. You begin practicing that calm yourself. You stop reacting during fights. Stop flinching at screams during nighttime extractions. Stop calling home as often because your mother's voice reminds you there was once a version of yourself capable of guilt. The prison notices your usefulness. So do the people above you. Level 3, the shot caller's earner. The door closes behind you. 3 men sit at the table inside the chapel storage room. No guards. No cameras. Just hierarchy. The oldest man, Vargas, controls narcotics distribution across the entire prison compound. Nearly 2,400 inmates. 6 housing units. 2 kitchens. 1 infirmary flooded with addicts pretending to be patients. He speaks softly. That is what makes everyone listen. You made us $42,000 this quarter, he says. Us. Not you. That word matters. At level 3, you stop being labor and start becoming trusted property. You receive territory. Block D and the East Yard. 27 active customers. 4 distributors beneath you. 1 enforcer named Miller who fractured a man's jaw with a padlock tied inside a sock. You are responsible for collections now. Collections change people. A debtor begs you for another week because his daughter needs surgery outside. You listen without expression while he talks. Then you order his television taken anyway. Compassion creates instability. That is what you tell yourself afterward. You sleep better once you stop viewing punishment as personal. The empire functions through pressure. Pressure on addicts. Pressure on guards. Pressure on suppliers outside the walls. Every weak point gets exploited eventually. A corrections officer named Brennan begins carrying in oxycodone capsules for you twice a month. He earns $3,000 per delivery. His wife has cancer. Medical debt made him recruitable. Everyone has a price. The trick is finding the pressure point beneath the price. At this level, your reputation becomes more valuable than your violence. Men pay debts because they hear stories about what happens otherwise. Most of the stories are exaggerated. You encourage that. Fear scales better than force. You spend evenings in the prison library studying cartel structures, military logistics, corporate management books donated by churches that have no idea who reads them. The system stops feeling chaotic. You begin seeing its architecture. Contraband routes. Power vacuums. Racial alliances. Protection markets. Supply chains. Prison is not disorder. It is a country pretending to be a cage. And you are rising inside its government. Level 4, the coordinator. The riot lasts 14 minutes. Long enough to change everything. 2 inmates dead. 11 hospitalized. 1 guard dragged unconscious across wet concrete while alarms scream through the compound. You stand untouched near the basketball court because you knew it was coming 3 hours earlier. That is why Vargas promotes you. Not because you are violent. Because you are informed. Level 4 is information control. You no longer touch product directly. Other people absorb that risk now. Your hands stay clean while your orders move through layers beneath you. You oversee communication between suppliers outside prison and distributors inside it. Burn phones hidden in hollowed-out law books. Lawyers bribed to carry messages protected by attorney-client privilege. Drone drops landing behind maintenance buildings at 2:13 a.m. every Thursday. The operation generates nearly $180,000 monthly. Half the guards suspect something. A quarter actively profit from it. The rest survive by looking away. You move into a single-man cell after an inmate volunteers for protective custody. More space. More privacy. More silence. Silence becomes addictive. People stop talking casually around you. Conversations shorten when you enter rooms. Even your old friends speak carefully now, measuring words before offering them. Power isolates gradually. Not dramatically. Like water eroding stone. You barely notice it happening. A young inmate overdoses on fentanyl cut badly by one of your distributors. He dies twitching beside a payphone while inmates pound on locked gates for medical staff. That night, you stare at the ceiling for hours. Not because he died. Because his death interrupted business for 3 days. The realization unsettles you more than the body did. You are changing in ways that no longer feel reversible. But by now, reversing course would look like weakness. And weakness gets consumed here. Level 5, the administrator. Vargas disappears during transport to another facility. Nobody believes the official story. Transport vans do not simply lose men like Vargas. Someone arranged it. The next morning, everyone waits to see what happens. Nothing happens. Because you already prepared for this months ago. At level 5, succession matters more than loyalty. You control distribution across the compound now. Roughly $2.8 million annually moving through cinderblock walls built to prevent exactly this. You hold meetings inside the laundry facility beside industrial washers loud enough to swallow conversation. Schedules pinned inside your memory. Every package. Every debt. Every compromised guard. You trust nobody completely. Not even yourself. Paranoia stops feeling irrational once enough people actually want you dead. Your day begins at 5:30 a.m. with reports from each housing block. Inventory counts. Collection numbers. Security concerns. Potential informants. You resolve conflicts before violence becomes necessary. Violence attracts investigations. Investigations cost money. You realize real power is administrative. Not physical. The strongest man in prison still answers to the man controlling supply. You stop exercising. Stop watching television. Stop participating in anything unnecessary. Every action becomes functional. Efficient. You speak less. The less you say, the more carefully people listen when you finally do. A federal task force begins investigating corruption inside the facility. 3 officers arrested. 2 inmates transferred without warning. You sacrifice one distributor immediately. His arrest protects the larger structure. He understands this when they drag him into solitary. That is the frightening part. Everyone inside the system understands they are expendable. Including you. Especially you. At level 5, you no longer remember the exact moment ambition replaced survival. You just know survival is no longer enough. Level 6, the warden without a badge. The actual prison warden asks to speak with you privately. That is when you understand how far this has gone. His office smells like stale coffee and furniture polish. Family photos sit beside disciplinary reports. An American flag hangs motionless in the corner. He never mentions drugs directly. Men like him never do. Instead, he talks about stability. Violence reduction. Predictability. Since your organization centralized distribution, assaults dropped 31%. Random stabbings decreased. Gambling disputes stabilized because addicts stayed supplied. The prison became more manageable under criminal governance. That is the secret nobody outside understands. Systems survive because they become useful. The warden leaves an unspoken agreement hanging between you both. Order in exchange for tolerance. You accept without acknowledging it aloud. At level 6, you no longer run a drug operation. You govern an ecosystem. 3 prisons now answer indirectly to your network. Contraband routes stretching across state lines. Guards recruited before they even apply for corrections jobs. Outside distributors competing for your approval because prison demand never disappears. You generate nearly $11 million yearly. You own nothing personally. That is why you survive. Everything exists through layers of distance. Shell accounts. Girlfriends of dead associates. Cousins of cousins you've never met. Your identity dissolves into the organization itself. People speak your nickname with caution now. Younger inmates treat stories about you like mythology. Some of the stories are false. You never correct them. Myth creates insulation. But power at this level comes with permanent vigilance. You eat food only after someone else touches it first. You never stand near railings. Never sit facing doors. You sleep lightly. Every noise sounds intentional. One night, Miller, the enforcer who once protected your territory, tries arranging your assassination with a rival group. You learn about it before he acts. You have him removed quietly. No spectacle. No speech. Just absence. By morning, everyone understands what happened without asking. That is real authority. Not visible violence. Invisible consequence.